Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Saints Squad Show. I'm your host, Dylan Sanders of Saints Wire and Pelicans Roundtable, and me and Ross are still in the same house, but because of someone I won't name, we couldn't do this in person.
I am someone who won't be named of Who Dat Dish, and I'm glad that TCU basketball finally let me make it to the show.
I'm Ross Jackson, host of the Locked On Saints podcast, and I'm just happy to be here with Senior Bowl over and the NFL draft that much closer.
It's the Saints Squad. Everything New Orleans Saints, every week. Covering all the big hits and game-changing plays from down in the Big Easy, the way only Locked On Podcast Network can. Get ready and squad up. It's the Saints Squad Show, starting now.
Howdy, United Nation. Welcome back to the Saints Squad Show, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen. This offseason, we're doing every Tuesday, Monday, and I can never get it right. Monday and Thursday. We have a unique group of experts here ready to bring you a fun and informative show on everything New Orleans Saints. Today, it was Senior Bowl week, and we are going to be going through a post-Senior Bowl mock draft. It's going to be a little bit different of a format of our show. We're not going to have like segment. We're going to have our fun with a mock draft, and then once the mock draft wraps up, we're going to close out the rest of the show by continuing our better or worse season King of the Hill type game that I think was pretty fun. Crossover Thursday is presented by Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. All right, guys. Senior Bowl season is over. Senior Bowl practices are over. And the games. I
was going to say, I was feeling pretty bad. I said Senior Bowl's over when really the practice is like they still got a whole game to play on Saturday. Like I shouldn't have said it like that, but I did. So, you know,
I mean, I said it too, because honestly, I mean, the practices are the biggest part. Practice week is the biggest part of the event. Obviously, for like fans and like families, the game's awesome. But
couldn't make it a little bit.
But for what we care about, the week before the game, that is over. The practices are done. And it's a lot of fun. So we're going to do a full Saints mock draft. Or, let's do a mock draft post Senior Bowl practices. Now, this isn't going to be only us taking Senior Bowl players, but now we have some new names that we're thinking of in these mid to late rounds. Maybe some as early as round 2. I don't think there's going to be any Senior Bowl guys at number 8 that we're considering, but maybe Ross really loved Garrett Nussmeier.
Maybe I was really intrigued by TJ Parker, the edge rusher out of Clemson. All right. He'd literally be the closest one and the only one, but no.
All right. Well, let's get into this mock draft. And guys, there is a interesting question being posed here at 8. So to recap what's happened so far, we're not going to do this for every round, but the top 8, I think it really matters how that falls for the Saints pick. Fernando Mendoza goes number 1 to the Las Vegas Raiders. Obvious. Interesting pick here. Carnell Tate goes at 2 to the New York Jets.
Oh, okay. He substitutes his dream of playing football with Josh Allen or Tyler Shuck with playing with Brady Cook.
It's gonna be interesting to see. He's gonna be the first wide receiver to not have a quarterback. Arizona Cardinals went with Francis Mauigoa. I think I'm saying that right.
Maui-Noah.
I'm trying.
It's a Polynesian.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Maui-Noah at 3, great pick for them. The Titans go David Swagless Wonder Bailey. At 4, the Giants go Arvell Reese. The Browns go Spencer Fano. And the Commanders go Ruben Bain. So that leaves the Saints with Caleb Downs, Jordan Tyson, and Jeremiah Love as I think the top 3. Y'all know the rest of the names if y'all think, but I think personally. Oh, and by the way, I should have said this at the top. This is like a war room mock draft, so we all have to agree on a pick before we move on to the next one.
Oh, nice. Okay. All right.
So it's only going to be one pick, but we all have to agree. And so now I'm going to start the bidding at Caleb Downs, Jordan Tyson, Jeremiah Love. Let me know if y'all think there's anyone else that is even in the conversation.
Peter Woods. No, I'm just kidding. There's so much
Clemson
Peter Woods
players.
discourse. Yeah, there's so much Peter Woods discourse out there. I mean, to me, the pick is obvious. Let's have the chat help us out too. Y'all tell us who you think you would take out of those three. I mean, I'm leaning Jeremiah Love, man. Like, this is easy for me.
This is so interesting. I literally called Ross, what was it, a week and a half ago? And I was like, all right, what if Love and Downs were both available?
Right.
And I was just curious. I think it's hard to fight going with Jeremiah Love because I think that running back needs a lot, while I think safety kind of has a lot to work with, while I feel like the top end of that room at running back needs help. So I do want to side to Jeremiah Love, but this would be the best issue to have.
Yeah, this is a good scenario here. This is a good scenario here for them. But I don't think it's a trade back scenario. I want to be clear. I don't think you trade back from 8. I think if you're trading back, you trade back in the 3rd round or trade back 4th round in those areas. I don't think you trade back from 8 unless you're going to get an absolute, haul, like king's ransom from somebody. But right now, I think you stick and pick here, and I think at 8, I got to go Jordan Love. And I'm with you,
Jeremiah Love.
Jeremiah Love, thank you, not Jordan Love. He's busy, but I'm with you. For me, it's between either Love or Downs for the most part, because I feel really good about the wide receiver crop after. I feel better about the running back crop after this, but boy, Jeremiah Love, it just doesn't get better than that. I'm all about it here.
I really like this take from Elise Sanford. Love is a generational talent. I think we throw around the word generational a lot. I think he's a very, very good running back for how it's used. Sure, Jeremiah Love is a generational talent.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing is he improves both the passing and the rushing offense, and I think that is a crucial thing. You can get a twofer with Jeremiah Love over a guy like Jordan Tyson.
You know what he reminds me of, and this is going to be big, but he reminds me, or like I should say it this way: the idea of selecting Jeremiah Love reminds me of the feeling of when the Saints selected Reggie Bush. And that all of a sudden there was sort of this new electrifying talent in town that could do everything. Obviously, Reggie Bush was different. He was a punt returner. He was a kick returner. He did everything. But he had a gravity that made defenses pay attention to him, which opened up opportunities for other players at other positions, wide receiver, tight end, other running backs, all that. I feel like Jeremiah Love can present that same amount of gravity to this team, to where it opens up opportunities, just having him on the field as a decoy in some situations. On top of that, the actual things that he could do. I'm not saying that he is a Reggie Bush, that he is Reggie Bush, but it has that, I think he has that gravitational pull to defenses. And I think that could be beneficial for Tyler Shuck and these, this offense.
So
what I want to talk about, Darian?
War room style, right? And ironically, it comes down to Love and Caleb Downs, but we really haven't talked about Downs much. We've just talked about.
I was
Love,
just about to say that.
Yeah.
As it goes, I think Ross brings up a good point, right? So if the running back room, you feel better about that than safety, nickel, star, however you want to look at the value of Downs, right? If you feel better about that room, why not get another top end prospect here if you think you can get somebody a little later? Or is it just Love is just that much of a can't miss that despite the depth, we'll still go with this player in your mind?
Yeah, I think that there's really good running back talent, but Jeremiah Love is that much different. There's also really good safety talent later on, and Downs maybe isn't as separated from the next safety as maybe Jeremiah Love is for me. And maybe I'm leaning offense a little bit here too. And so maybe kind of all those things kind of wrap in. But for me, like the overall impact of a Jeremiah Love, in my opinion, is going to be greater than the overall impact of a Caleb Downs. Although if like Jeremiah Love wasn't in this equation and we're talking Caleb Downs or Jordan Tyson, I'm going Caleb Downs. You know what I mean? It's just the Jeremiah Love factor for me.
Yeah. And can I be honest with y'all?
No. So
You
I
already,
think
all right. Well, I'll lie. I didn't pick Jeremiah Love as soon as I saw that he was available, and have just been putting on a charade the entire time.
No matter what, you knew it was going to be Jeremiah Love. All right, let's move on.
Jeremiah Love, no matter what.
It's Jeremiah Love.
It's Jeremiah Love. It's Jeremiah Love. I know that people kind of get mad. We're already to the point where people are kind of tired of hearing us talk about Jeremiah Love. As I buckle up. Yeah, buckle up, because it's going to be a long time, and I don't see anything that could happen over the next 2 months of people not playing football for me to be like, oh well, someone else is better. It's Jeremiah Love.
We didn't say this much about Downs. I do want to say this. I really feel like he could be a transforming piece on this defense. Like
absolutely. Absolutely.
I know everybody here feels that way, but like we said, we really didn't talk about it. It came down to Love and Downs, but it really sounded like it didn't. If we're going to be honest, it sounded like it was just Love. Downs, to me, when you look at Reed, when you look at Blackman, you have Sanker, you add Downs to that room. I think it has so much versatility. Him as an individual in that star role, I think, could be absolutely phenomenal, right? I think that he fits in that defense well, but he also allows you to be extremely versatile, which I don't think is talked about as much. But you think about when Tyron first came to this team, we were always talking about how can you have versatility of who's going to play shallow, who plays deep, who not allowing the offense to know what's coming. And I think that you put Downs on this team, he's an impact player by himself and a piece that allows you to be to masquerade your intentions a lot more. So I do want to at least throw that out before we move to the second round.
Yeah. And I'll say this too, the versatility that he brings helps you in what it is specifically that Brandon Staley likes to do. Not even just from a, hey, here's what I'm showing you pre-snap and what I'm doing post-snap thing, but like they do cover 6 and cover 8 coverages to where it's a split field coverage where it's cover 4 on one side, it's corners on one side, and it's cover 2 on the other side. Like they do a lot of these different types of what I would probably call like multiple defenses in terms of coverage scheme and everything like that, but they don't change the picture when you go in motion, right? And so when you're not changing the picture and you're not doing a bunch of stuff and you're looking exactly the same, you have to have those players that are versatile enough to be able to get from where they are pre-snap alignment and get to where they can make a play on the football, and also not give away, hey, this side we're doing this, that side we're doing that, whatever it might be. That's another one of those reasons why Downs is absolutely like a core and essential, could become a core and essential piece in a Brandon Staley defense specifically. But I will say this, Brandon Staley, if he has another successful 2026, is probably a head coach again by 2027, 2028. Kelan Moore, if he finds success, ain't going nowhere. And so Kelan Moore and Jeremiah Love have more legs right now together than maybe the runway with Brandon Staley and a piece for him.
Someone brought up, why can't we draft a tight end or playmaker linebacker in the first round? It's always an O-line, running back, or defensive line. When was the last time they took a running back in the first round? Reggie Bush.
Mark Ingram.
Oh, Mark Ingram?
Mark Ingram. Yeah.
Mark Ingram. Well, I would still say that doesn't qualify as always being a running back or whatever.
No, it's very
Mark Ingram's retired. He had an entire career.
Right.
I would also throw this out here. You don't do the other two as often if you hit on them. They haven't hit. So that's another. They're pivotal positions and you need to get them, but preferably get them right. So I think that's part of the reason you keep revisiting this. Like, I don't want to have to keep drafting edge rushers, but I also wish that we didn't draft Marcus Davenport and Peyton Turner. And if they would have hit, then you wouldn't be in this position. But what are you supposed to do? Say you don't need edge rushers now? Don't need offense? I think that's the thing. And then positional value, to answer the first part of your question. A lot of people are scared to draft tight ends unless,
and just the players aren't there to take.
Yeah.
Keiante Sadiq, I don't think is worth the 8th pick to me, and especially over Jeremiah Love. And then linebackers would maybe be Sonny Styles. I think he's a great player, but again, I just think Jeremiah Love and Caleb Downs are better. So that's where it falls for me. All right, let's move on to the second round, and I'll throw out some options, and then we can start to stew on it and talk about it whenever we come back.
Cool.
Some names available to think about: T.J. Parker, Hakeem Meador, Monroe Freeling, Christian Miller, Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, Mason Thomas, Dylan Thieneman, A.J. Halsey, Chris Bell, L.T. Overton. There are a lot of names to think about.
Yeah, a lot.
Jacoby Lane, A.J. Halsey, Malik Muhammad, Omar Cooper. Just think about some names. And,
you got it.
We'll get into those coming up next. All right, well, there's that. And then
I'm still here.
And then, hey guys, Let's be real. Managing your finances can feel overwhelming between subscriptions you forgot about, bills that keep going up, and trying to figure out where all your money actually goes each month. It's easy to feel like you're losing control. And who has time to track every transaction or hunt down hidden fees? I hate hidden fees. That's my number one thing. I can't stand it. That's where Rocket Money comes in. The personal finance app that helps you take control. It finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. I was shocked whenever I found out that I was paying. God, I don't really want to get into how it happened, but I was paying for 3 different subscriptions of the same service. So I don't really. I'm not going to say the name because it's not here. They're not paying for it. Rocket Money is. But Rocket Money helped me kill that other competition. All right. I love how it tracks all my subscriptions, lets me cancel them right in the app with just a few taps. No more hunting down customer service numbers. So let Rocket Money help you reach your financial goals faster. Join at rocketmoney.com/lockedon. That's rocketmoney.com/lockedon. rocketmoney.com/lockedon. There's nothing like being in an NBA arena. And I say that as someone who's in an NBA arena all the time. And Pelicans fans, hey, there may not be a ton of them in there, but it's still a great time. And you can be a part of that. The crowd, the energy, the moment. Getting tickets, though, that part has not always been so simple. That's why Game Time has become the go-to app for scoring tickets fast without the hassle. It puts the advantage back where it belongs, in the hands of you, the fans. I love seeing all-in price up front. Again, my number one least favorite. Dylan Sanders hates hidden fees. No more hidden fees. Being able to see the view from the seat before you buy makes every decision easier. And if you want to, you can save a little bit more money by going with the zone deals. They choose the section, Game Time picks the seats, and you save money. Great last-minute options. NBA tickets always showing up at solid prices. So take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. That's code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. And remember, it's gametime.co, not .com. Hey, guys. Hey, what's up? We are back with our mock draft. We took Jeremiah Love in round 1, threw out some names to consider. You can also bring your own names, and we can talk about them. Ross, where is your mind starting in round 2?
I mean, I got to be honest. At the top of the second round, TJ Parker being on the board is crazy. And so, that's probably the best player that's available. But I don't know that I necessarily want to dedicate the mock draft to taking advantage of that. You know what I mean? Because it's pretty unrealistic.
But hey, you never know what happens.
But you never know, right? DK Metcalf wasn't supposed to be taken in the second round. He was, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I feel like you got to go best player available here. I think he's up there for me. I also think Chris Bell is up there for me. And so, if I'm trying to narrow this down to a few guys, it's probably TJ Parker, Chris Bell, and Hakeem Meador. Meador, I think, is outstanding. He just got outshined by Ruben Bain on the opposite side. Yeah. But my rule going into this draft is that if I can get Notre Dame guys, Indiana guys, or Miami guys, I'm probably drafting those guys. And so I feel pretty good about really any of those three possibilities there.
Yeah, this is tough. Go ahead, Dylan.
I'm going to throw a name out there because I was thinking about what we're missing out on with not going with Caleb Downs. And it is something that I think, especially as the offseason progresses for the Saints, I really think they're going to have to find another person in that slot. At least a conversation. It's clear that Alontae Taylor wants cornerback 1 money, and I don't think the Saints are going to give it to him. So I think that they're going to be finding a way. Maybe it's getting a safety, moving Jonas Stanker down there. Maybe it's finding another nickel back. I want to throw out someone who I became a fan of, and I think is actually eerily similar to Alontae Taylor. That's Keiante Scott. Miami Hurricanes corner. Now, picking him at the top of the second round might be a little rich for some people, but I think if you can get a a player. He had 20 pressures this past season, and as a passer, he had 5 sacks. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah, right.
He was solid in coverage. He's lightning fast. I think that's a pretty good pick. I think that's a pretty good guy to at least keep in mind. We can also take the chance because, he is a fringe guy between day 2, day 3. We could see if he's available in round 3, but that's a name I'm going to throw out there as someone who caught my eye.
That's a good thought. I have a note on that, but Darian, you had something first, I think.
Yeah, when it gets to round 2 and really round 3, I start to think I obviously would love to go BPA, but I start thinking, is there a position where I feel so adamant about that I want to try to get the best player at that position? And I feel like edge does become that for me. I don't know if anyone else has that position, but edge feels like a huge need to me. And I know you have Chase Young, but I really think having a running mate for him would be pivotal. Now, there's 2 in my mind, right? And I weigh between wide receiver and I weigh between edge rusher. But I'm a huge fan of Devon Vele. I think he's a guy who can grow within that role. So I don't look at it as all right, I'm gonna pass up on a best player available situation to force myself into a receiver, but I may do that with edge. So if I'm looking at guys like a Parker, like a Meador, who I think is absolutely phenomenal, I think his handwork at the line of scrimmage, I think goes underrated. There was one play, I can't remember who it was because they played, a lot of games in the playoffs, but there was one where he showed great handwork to fight off the defense or the offensive tackle, kind of dropped down a little bit and lunged towards the quarterback and got a forced fumble. I just thought that was one of the better plays that you'll see, but a lot of times playing next to Ruben Bain can cover you up.
Yeah. I feel really good about Hakeem Meador, if I'm being honest. Like, I like TJ Parker, but TJ Parker did one of those things, especially as an edge rusher, that always scares me, which is that he came down to earth in his final year. Ideally, you want to see guys get better and better. Now, they had a big defensive coordinator change over at Clemson. I do understand that. I don't want to discount that. But I do think that what you want to see consistently are guys getting better, charting better stats, getting better. I think you saw that from Hakeem Meador. So for me, he's on the better trajectory that I trust. I also really like Chris Bell here, like I mentioned before, but I'm perfectly okay with another wide receiver later. And then Keiante Scott is a really good ad, Dylan, and a great call out. And so
I think with Ross pushing for Hakeem Meador, Darian saying that he wants an edge, I'm fine going Hakeem Meador here. I think he's a very good player. For those that might not know, because all the attention went to Ruben Bain this past year, Hakeem Meador, 67 pressures, 13 sacks.
Yeah,
and that's production. That's production.
Yeah,
Ross kind of put me on game on one of his episodes where he talked about how much that the edge rusher opposite of Chase Young actually dropped back. I thought it felt like it was more than it was. And I placed that as such of a high criteria for me when talking about the type of edge rusher I want. But knowing it doesn't happen nearly as much as I thought, I do feel a little bit different. I want it. It'd be great, but I don't look at it as mandatory as I did maybe 2-3 weeks ago in Meador. So that's why Meador still fits kind of a build to me. I think I like the tweener, maybe, 250 guys. I love that build. Think of a name from the guy from Oklahoma, R. Mason Thomas.
Oh, R. Mason Thomas, right? Yep.
And I think he's extremely fast. Same with a Cassius Howell or guys like that. Those two do really stick out as speedier players, or Malachi Lawrence later, because we're not going to get another edge rusher. So I'll throw him out there. Those type of guys stick to my brain, but Meador feels like a talent and a skill set to where I may put that aside and understand that he does get off the line of scrimmage really fast. I think Chase Young gets off really fast. So then you're looking at those as players who still give you speed off the line, even if they don't give you that size that you stereotypically believe goes with it.
Yeah. To give the point on the coverage thing, Carl Granderson dropped into coverage 102 snaps in 2025. What am I doing? Not that much. And Hakeem Meador, by the way, in 2025 dropped back into coverage 68 times. And so an ability to do it and a willingness to do it is like, you're not expecting these dudes to go out there and get, interceptions and stuff like that and do all kinds of crazy stuff. You're just expecting them to put a body in between the quarterback and an outlet or a flare route or something out of the backfield. Like you're just trying to get a body in between there. And so I feel pretty good with the Hakeem Meador there. I like this. I would love if that were the pick. The Saints typically lean defensive back or edge, or at least defensive line in the second and third rounds. And so this would fit, as with the Keiante Scott pick. Both of those players out of Miami's defense would fit here and would make sense here.
I think we go Meador.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay. So we have Love and Meador. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I love the Meador pick.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah.
All right. And so we're here at round 3, pick 73. Keiante Scott's available. AJ Halsey's available. Omar Cooper and Denai Dennis Son. We already had that. Malachi Fields is someone who has stood out here at the Senior Bowl, made some great catches. There's also some offensive line. Connor Liu, Isaiah World. Anybody stand out? Obvious. There's Eli Stowers is around for tight end fans, but I'm partial to Keiante Scott because I wanted him last round.
Yeah,
and I think adding Love, Meador, and Scott add 3, I think, day one impact players at positions of need, and I think for this team at 3 valuable positions. I think that would be a huge win. Win.
I will throw Malachi Fields up there. That dude has been so fun to watch here in Mobile. And I absolutely love him after getting to watch him here in Mobile. He was absolutely awesome. Huge catch radius, able to go out there and make some really difficult catches, all those things. I love it. And so I'm cool with either one. I love the Keiante Scott pick too. And so I will let Darian see if Darian agrees with you or disagrees with you, and then I'll play tiebreaker on this one. But I like both of those selections for New Orleans. I'm
breaking the whole thing up, right? And I think,
dang, all right,
I'm breaking it all up. I think that's Ravish Ty. I don't know how to read it. It's small on my side. But anyway, I think that how we brought a guard in. Like, how are we operating?
I'm expecting that's in free agency.
So are we working with the understanding that you got a guard?
Yeah, is that cool?
I'm fine with
cool.
it.
I mean, I think that the Saints are going to be way better off, especially with this guard class, by going offensive line than trying to, if you're not going guard in first, you're not guaranteeing yourself a starter. And I don't think that the Saints should roll with that mentality. I think they should get a starter in free agency. And then if there are more offensive linemen that you like in the draft, like Darren, if there's someone you like here, let us know, because we can also still go guard because, nothing's guaranteed on the Saints offensive line. Right. I think we've learned that.
Yeah. Steve Ruiz, I think, does need to have somebody behind. I've said that before, but no, I think it determines how pressing I am on it, right? Like if we didn't have a left guard going into the draft that, felt like it was an upgrade, then maybe I'd be more pressing to go with the 3rd round guard or try to search for the best guard there. But with the understanding that we're going to say we got that done, I go with Keiante Scott. I think that's a solid pick at a valuable position, like you mentioned.
Right. I'm cool with Keiante Scott. I think.
Sorry, Ross. I know you love Malachi Fields.
Yeah, but there's other wide receivers that I also really like after this round that are going to be there. Like the depth at wide receiver is so good this year that I'm not worried. I don't feel like if I'm a general manager in this situation, or if I'm in the war room in this situation, I don't feel like I need to be in a hurry to go after wide receiver. And I'm actually with Darian. I feel pretty good about Devon Vele as like a breakout guy in 2026 if he stays on the field, which. I assume he'll be able to do. And so with that, like I'm cool with going with Keiante Scott here. I think the one thing the Senior Bowl has definitely if there's one takeaway is that you can wait on wide receiver in this. That's 100%. There's so much talent. So much talent. All of these guys, even guys like Chris Hilton and Aaron Anderson and Cyrus Allen are all guys that have Tyron Montgomery, Ted Hurst. These are all players that look like they can compete because this is not a bad defensive back class at the Senior Bowl. I know that a lot of people are talking about only the wide receivers and it makes you question the defensive backs, but I think the wide receivers have just been that good. Yeah. DBs would look a lot better if Keiante would have been out here though.
Maybe we would have taken him in round 2. Maybe we would have taken him in round 2.
I'll throw this out here because we're not going to get him now. My guy, TCU, Bud Clark. I mean, I don't think that going back to the pool with that makes the most sense. But he was a DB who stood out, and he made a lot of plays. Part of me was kind of hoping that we didn't get a defensive back early, but I didn't want to sabotage the draft. I thought about just throwing Malachi Fields out there so I could.
Hey, that's a war room type thing to do.
Yeah, right.
If you're talking about Belichick, if you sabotage and talking about picks is always available, but. I'm looking at Bud Clark as someone who was a DB who stood out. So if the Saints do go later in the draft, he would be somebody that would make a lot of sense. And from a TCU standpoint, he's extremely versatile as well, where he plays a lot in the box, a lot in the slot, has the ball hawking ability. So, obviously that won't come into play, but as far as conversation goes, that's someone to look out for later for Saints fans.
Tune into tomorrow's Locked On Saints if you want to hear more about Bud Clark.
I thought it.
All right. Well, there are. I won't give any names yet, but there are a lot of interesting Senior Bowl players whose names just popped up in round 4 of our post-Senior Bowl mock draft. We'll continue that coming up next. Senior Bowl is kind of like a job interview, right? Imagine if if coaches were able to put up a job posting, wide receiver for the Baltimore Ravens. If they did that, it would be on Indeed, and they'd probably use Indeed sponsored jobs. Because if you've ever hired someone who looked good on paper but wasn't the right fit, you know how important it is to get that right. When you want candidates to truly match what you're looking for, trust Indeed sponsored jobs. Hiring Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job posting on other sites. Indeed sponsored jobs put your posts at the top of the page and help you reach the right candidates faster. Instead of struggling to get your job post seen, Indeed sponsored jobs helps your listing stand out and reach quality candidates faster. Spend more time interviewing candidates who check all your boxes with less stress, less time, and more results using Indeed sponsored jobs. Listeners of this show get a $75 sponsored job credit to help give your job the premium placement it deserves at Indeed.com/LockedOnNFL. Just head to Indeed.com/LockedOnNFL right now and support the show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring, do it the right way with Indeed. All right. There's some names here, including a move I teased potentially making, dipping back into the offensive line. Kelan Rutled is here in round 4. A guy that I like that I don't think gets a lot. I'm just gonna move past whatever Ross just had. I heard that through the wall. Oh Lord.
The second was crazy. Follow up. Okay.
A guy I like a lot in Oscar Delp out of Georgia as like a later round tight end. Ted Hurst is someone I mentioned. I really liked him. We've already had we've touched on a lot of these positions. It's been good getting through positions of need. Are there any other guys that y'all know around that you might be interested in? But those are the names that stood out to me at first.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's gonna make me groan, or grunts, whatever we call that. So I mean, sometimes it's.
I mean, if you get Kelan Rutled, you don't pass it up. Ross, why did Kelan Rutled evoke that response from you? Because I think we're gonna go with him.
Yeah, he's just that dude. Like, he is just a tenacious, relentless, violent SOB. And I think that's exactly the attitude that this team needs to have on the offensive line. Trevor Penning was the guy that brought the aggression. Saints have guys like Taliesin Fuanga as well as Kelvin Banks Jr. who have really, really mean playing demeanors. So does Eric McCoy. I think you keep building on that. I think you continue to build on that, and then you add more of that. Rutled is like, if I needed to go, an alien comes to Mobile, Alabama right now, steps up on our doorstep, Dylan, knocks on the door and says, show me what it means to be an offensive lineman. I'm putting on Kelan Rutled tape right now. Like, I'm showing that alien this, and I'm saying this is what it's like to be an offensive lineman in the NFL. This dude moves well. I know Cam Jordan said that there's no such thing as an athletic offensive lineman. So whatever is closest to that is what Kelan Rutled is. But he also loves to finish plays, plays up to the whistle, but with a lot of discipline, very physical, very violent. Said he always wants to put somebody in the dirt. Like, I love that kind of attitude, play style, and demeanor. And he checks all the boxes while not just having that attitude, but being able to execute it and do it on the field. I'm Kelan Rutled on this pick all day. And I think I already know if he stays on the board where I want to go with the next pick too.
He is well, I think we went with Kelan Rutled, and the Saints pick a couple of picks later, also in the 4th round. Ross, who was the guy that you were talking about?
If Ted Hurst is still there, I'd really consider it.
Ted Hurst is still there. That is a guy that I like a lot. He has had a great practice. That's a 6'3", 200-pound receiver out of Georgia State. And honestly, Ross, I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but if we went Ted Hurst here, I don't 100% rule out double dipping at wideout.
No, I don't either.
I don't dip. I don't say no fully. But yeah, really impressive. Ted Hurst had a great week. I'm trying to get his actual stats up.
Oh, I got him. 71 receptions, 1,004 receiving yards, and I think it's 6 receiving touchdowns last year.
That is exactly right to the number. And then the year before, 56 catches, 961 yards, 9 touchdowns, 2 years of production, posted up at the Senior Bowl, head tapping people. I like it. Just to have the conversation about some other guys around here that I like, Josh Cameron is a guy that I think impressed a lot this week. He's built like Deebo Samuel.
Yeah, 6'2", 6'3", 223. Like, just like a dude you don't want to try to tackle. A dude you don't want to be one-on-one with.
6'1", 223.
6'1", my bad.
Compact.
Yeah, very compact.
223. But I do what, Darren?
Yeah, no, I was trying to see what round we were in. I was
fourth.
trying to
Fourth.
All these picks, I'm starting to get lost. Is Aaron Anderson still on the board, or Skylar Bell? Are they still available?
Aaron Anderson is on the board.
I feel like Bell is gone.
Yeah,
Bell is gone.
Okay, I figured. I like Aaron Anderson is the guy who is my late or my mid-round wide receiver to look for. I think that, his ability in the slot, his ability to be shifty, his ability with the ball in his hand is something that I've always talked about on this show as the thing I'm looking for from wide receiver. And I feel like he gives that ability to me. So I am looking for him. And I don't know when you guys talk about double dipping, what your brain is on, right?
When I mentioned double dipping, Aaron Anderson is a name that came to mind because I think he's around past round 4 just because he is 5'8", and he's a guy who has talent, but is a guy that teams tend to let fall into later into day 3, or even I don't think it's outrageous to think that he goes undrafted just because of his play style and body type. But I do really like him as a talent. I think he is a very good slot receiver and potential return man talent.
I was just about to ask you about that. Where is his return ability? Because I think the Saints are going to look for that. I'm not mad at the pick. I'm not mad at the pick at all. I wouldn't mind coming back at a later time and doubling back with Anderson, because I do think his skill set is something the Saints need on both fronts.
All right.
And if you miss on Anderson, I think Barry and Brown would bring some additional, or some similar, impact.
And while we're talking about LSU wide receivers, I think undrafted talent-wise, Chris Hilton has put on a show. No one has ever doubted his speed or his talent. He is blazing fast, and I think he is going to put on a show at the Combine. And he has put on a show. I saw he's the first ever player to play in all 4 collegiate bowl games.
Dang, that's awesome.
He's been working.
Teams are going to love that too, because that shows that competitive nature. He wants to be out there. He wants to compete. All that. That's cool to hear. That's awesome.
Lee Hunter still on the board? No, he is on vacation celebrating getting drafted 2 days ago.
Yeah, right.
No, but see, we didn't mention him earlier, but Lee Hunter is a guy I wouldn't mind with that second round pick at all.
Yeah.
He's been unblockable, and I think the Saints do need a space eater. But I just don't think the draft has really fallen to where there's been any that catch my eye at that spot. But now we're here, round 5, pick 148.
Did we go Ted Hurst in the that second, fourth round?
We went Ted Hurst.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So just to remind everybody, we have Jeremiah Love, Hakeem Meador, Keiante Scott, Kelan, Rutled, and Ted Hurst, and that is the greatest draft I think I've ever seen.
Dang.
And we have 3 more picks to make.
Let's do it.
Let's trade up.
I'm saying.
A guy I mentioned a while ago is still here. Oscar Delp is still around.
Cool.
As a potential tight end talent. DJ Campbell, interior offensive line. Mikael Kamara. I'm just looking at one that catches my eye is Xavian Harris, defensive lineman out of Ole Miss. We were just talking about being able to fill up the holes in the middle. That is definitely somebody that I would keep an eye on. And I actually
6'7"
don't hate 6 foot.
He's 6'7".
He's 6'8". He's listed at 6'8".
Yeah, but
330. But he's 6'7". And that is a run defense guy.
You also do a podcast with 2 of them.
That's funny. That's funny.
I do actually like Mikael Kamara here, but we did go edge. I think if we can plug up that hole in the middle, give Brian Bresee some space, a space eater, and you never have enough defensive line talent. I lean Xavian Harris here, but I could be swayed elsewhere by any other guy, any other position groups we might want to talk about.
What about linebacker? I feel like a position we haven't talked about at all. Like, do you guys we're in the middle rounds now?
I did want to bring it up earlier because he's not around anymore, but I really liked Jacob Rodriguez this week.
Yeah.
He was a dog, playmaker.
Yeah,
and he obviously was a playmaker in college too. He's one of the guys where I think maybe like the athletic testing might not wow people, but production.
Yeah.
If he's in the pads, he can play football. Is my take on him. I'll read off some linebackers. These are guys that I'm gonna admit I don't know a ton about. We have Jayshon Barham from Michigan, Aiden Fisher from Indiana. I imagine Indiana linebacker, probably good. Kyle Lewis, Red Murdoch. Scooby Williams didn't show up. TCU guy Nnamdi Obiazor.
Yeah, good job.
Scooby Williams, West Weeks as LSU guy. I wouldn't take him here, but he's not bad. A guy who actually had a really good week at the Senior Bowl could have helped himself. Bryce Bocher. We talked about him a little bit. Houston Astros center fielder. Bryce Bocher.
That's wild. That's so cool.
Yeah. Is Caleb Elarmzor there? There's another TCU linebacker. Caleb with a K.
I don't see him now.
Okay. I like better of the duo. So that's why I threw him out there.
Yeah. I like Bryce Bocher a little bit later. But yeah, Jacob Rodriguez in day 2 would be awesome. Jack Kelly out of BYU is another one I really like. Kyle Lewis looked really, really good. Just 5'11", like 220 something, more of a safety build than he is a linebacker build. But he is, sideline to sideline athleticism all day.
Let me throw this out there. Oscar Delp, round 5, and then we look maybe at dipping back in one of the last 2 picks and seeing if we could land Bryce Bocher.
I'm cool with that. Why are you so high on Oscar Delp? Not as a challenge, but I just want to hear your thoughts on him.
I tend to like you don't want to scout the helmet, but I tend to like Georgia knows what they're looking at in tight end. I think he was a guy that wasn't very productive in college, but I think it was partially part of like the offense that he was around. Georgia hasn't been as good, but I think as a pure like athletic profile guy, solid blocking talent, I could see Oscar Delp being an impact player. Especially he wouldn't be like an instant impact, but a guy you kind of like wait and sit and let learn.
Yeah. I'm down with that. I like that. I also like Xavian Harris at this place, but there's another couple of defensive tackles a little bit later that I also like. So I don't mind waiting on that position.
Yeah. So where y'all leaning? We have Xavian. I think I lean Xavian Harris here.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are y'all
dig
fine with
that.
that?
Let's go with it.
Let's go.
I thought you were gonna go with Delp, but let's roll with Harris.
He talked himself out of it.
Yeah.
All right, we are here round 5, and we'll conclude this draft coming up next. Oh my god, I keep doing that. Oh my god. Oh man, if you can see me managing a computer, I don't think it would come to you as a shock that I have no idea what I'm doing when it comes to taxes. Tax season doesn't have to take over your life. This year, TurboTax is making it easier than ever just to hand things off and move on with your day. A little bit like what Tyler Shucks is going to be able to do when they draft Jeremiah Love. Just hand that thing off and then not worry about it. See good things happen. With TurboTax full service, you can have your taxes done for you by a trusted local expert, start to finish, without the stress or guesswork. Instead of spending hours trying to figure out forms, you can meet with a local TurboTax expert in person or connect online. They handle everything from W-2s to self-employment forms and work to get you every single deduction. For a limited time, you can have your taxes done by a local TurboTax expert for just $150 all in. If a TurboTax expert didn't file for you last year, that is, just file by February 28th, take taxes off your plate and get back to your life. Visit turbotax.com/local to book your appointment today. We're here. Last 2 picks. Just to recap. Jeremiah Love, Hakeem, Meador, Keiante, Scott, Kelan, Rutledge, Ted Hurst, Xavian, Harris.
Dang. That's a stacked draft.
A+ draft.
That's awesome.
I can't wait to tweet that graphic out tomorrow. Make people have to listen a little bit. All right. So we are here round 5.
Yep. 2 fifth rounds and then 1 more 6 we got left.
Rounds, yes. Name of the draft: Ephesians Prysock. I know we already went to the cornerback, but that is the name of the draft. I'd also wouldn't mind a cornerback named Marcus Allen, but moving on from scouting the names. Moving on from scouting the names. Who was it that we said we wanted to see if we could maybe stick and then wait and see if they were still around?
Aaron Anderson, I think.
I said about Anderson, yeah. If that's still what you're thinking about.
Aaron Anderson is around.
Pick him. I like it.
Let's do it.
Let's get to the 6th round. I love it. And if you're somebody that's like, hey, he's an LSU player, there's no way that the Saints pick him. Cool. Replace him with another speedy, small wide receiver that makes sense, like a Brennan Thompson or something like that. Like there's others that fit this prototype, but I think it's valuable, this idea of like, if you're going to double dip at wide receiver, double dip at 2 different prototypes of wideout. And that's kind of what we did here with Ted Hurst and Aaron Anderson.
How many Senior Bowl guys we got?
Aaron Anderson, Ted Hurst, Kelan Rutledge.
I think that's it.
Yep. All those coaches there. There's going to be multiple Senior Bowl players picked.
Yeah. I say we round it out with 1 more Senior Bowl guy. 6th round pick, Bryce Bocher.
Yeah.
There's your linebacker.
And he's a great coverage linebacker too. I mean, that's where he's impressed this entire week. And he also won a huge rep against Nicholas Singleton in pass protection at one point. And there's not a better pass protecting running back in this class probably than Nicholas Singleton. And so I'm all about Bryce Bocher. That dude plays mean and has really good athleticism.
Ross, how many mock drafts do you think I've done in my life?
Oh gosh, too many to count.
Whatever the number is, 1,000, at least 1,000.
Yeah, you're in the thousands easily. You're in the multi-thousands.
Before I did like Saints Spell and stuff, I was like an NFL draft guy. Like I would watch film on on everybody that I would, I was a huge draft guy.
Mm-hmm.
This is in the top 1% of drafts I've ever, top 0.5%. Jeremiah Love, Hakeem Meador, Keiante Scott, Kelan Rutledge, Ted Hurst, Xavian Harris, Aaron Anderson, and Bryce Bocher.
I love
Awesome.
it. Bryce Bocher, by the way, 6 foot, 227 pounds, but had 136 total tackles last year, including 5.5 of them things for a loss. Dude's all over the place.
No tight ends. Y'all complain about everything.
Stop. We go free agency with tight ends. Honestly, like I'm curious about guys like Isaiah Likely, guys like Dallas Goedert, who could potentially be a free agent this offseason, and of course has a relationship that exists with Kellen Moore. I would go free agency at tight end, and I would go free agency at offensive line. And then if you can grab a developmental one later, that's all good. But it's not. I don't think that that's a position that you draft right now and say, "Oh, I got to get somebody out on the field immediately."
Yeah,
there's tight ends that I like in this class. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah,
I like this. I like this class a lot. All right, and so I don't lie. Let's at least have a little bit of fun and start this better. What, Ross? One thing.
We got a good question from, I think it was Kyle in the chat, who asked about whether or not the Saints should invest a late round pick in a quarterback to help back up Tyler Shuck. And I did quickly want to discuss that. I don't think so. I don't think they need to do that. They have Spencer Rattler. And I think when you have somebody that started in your system before that as a backup, that's invaluable. But I do think going to go and get another veteran quarterback for your quarterback room, that's where I would go in order to add to the quarterback room, because Jake Haener's not going to be back. We'll see what happens with Hunter Deckers in his Houston Gamblers season. Taysom Hill, who knows? And then so if Taysom Hill's not around, I think going out and getting another veteran quarterback is the way to go there to add in order to add to that room. I mean,
I agree completely.
All right. Let's start with we went like big dogs last time with this King of the Hill, better or worse season. Let's start the bidding a little bit lower this time. And I'm gonna go with Quincy Riley or Jonas Sanker.
Ooh.
I think Jonas Sanker had a bigger role and was good, but I think Quincy Riley was better in the snaps that he was on the field.
Ooh.
I think that's a pretty hard one for me.
You started here, by the way. You could have
the
easier one. This is a pretty hard one for me. You could have gave us an easier choice, Dylan.
Dang.
I went with two rookie DBs. Sorry.
It's okay. You do it on purpose, but we appreciate it. Good TV. I'm gonna go Sanker. I think that you saw a couple more. I think he had maybe one more turnover. Actually, they might have had the same. I think Sanker had 2 interceptions, and Riley had a fumble recovery and an interception. Yeah. I'm going to go Sanker. It may be because he was on the field more and I saw more of him, but I'm going to go with Sanker because his role was bigger.
I'm going to, oh man, it's so tough too, because like both, I agree. I think I like Tim Dunn. It's a draw. I think though, just because of what the two positions are asked to do, I'll go with Quincy Riley. And the reason why I'm going with Quincy Riley is because, and this is maybe me being too nuanced and like trying to dig for something that doesn't necessarily need celebrating, but Riley was really, really good in run defense, in addition to having that short memory, making some impact plays, getting interceptions, things like that, having the pass breakups, all that. And so I think that when you're asking somebody at corner to be a good run supporter and they come through on that, that's not something you always see at corner. And so I'm going to give the nod to Quincy Riley just because he stood out in an area of the game that he's not expected to stand out, but no shade at all to Jonas Sanker, who I thought had an incredible rookie season.
Sounds like you're a tiebreaker, Dylan, because I went Sanker.
Mm-hmm.
I went Riley.
I'm going Riley.
Okay.
Bang.
I'm going Riley. Just because
you would have been right either way.
Yeah. I did really set us up with a hard one. I just really liked what he did whenever he was on the field. And I think that they're both going to be part of the Saints defense for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, again, we've all said it, supremely impressed.
Yeah.
With Jonas Sanker. All right.
I'll say this. If they put Jonas Sanker in the star role in 2026, he's having a better season than all of them. Every one of them. Anybody in the secondary. He's having a better second season than anybody in that secondary will have a better next season if they put him in that star role. I would be so high on him there.
I would too. It almost makes me not want to get the star, or not get like a younger player, because I'm so excited about what he could be there. Yeah, I'm with you. I think that he has the skill set to be absolutely phenomenal. That does not count if Caleb Downs is on the board with no Jeremiah Love.
Of course, yeah. It doesn't mean that you. It doesn't mean that you go away from a Caleb Downs. It doesn't even mean that you go away from a Keiante Scott if he's at a place where it makes sense. But if you know you have that option, I think you're pretty comfortable with that.
All right. I'm gonna give this one, and then I'm gonna go get a charger because my laptop's about to die.
Oh no,
Quincy Riley or Kool-Aid McKinstry?
Quincy Riley for me, but Kool-Aid McKinstry had his spurts. I don't know. I feel like Kool-Aid when he was up, but there was moments where I want a little bit more from him.
Yeah,
and I think it's the pressures of being a cornerback 1 versus being a cornerback 2, where more is expected of you. So I'm gonna go with Riley from that point of view. What you think, Ross?
I'm really close to going with Kool-Aid on this one because of everything that was put on him during this season. But from a raw stats point, I think people are going to point and they're going to say, well, Kool-Aid allowed this many touchdowns and all these other things. And I completely get that. But Kool-Aid got so much better as the season went on. Things clearly clicked for him in his second year. And this is another one that I feel like could easily be a draw. But I'm gonna go with Kool-Aid. I'm gonna make Dylan be the tiebreaker again here. I'm gonna go with Kool-Aid, but I'm excited about what his third season is shaping up to be. I've heard a little bit about what it is that he's dedicating his offseason to, and like how it is that he's the grind that he's on and all this other stuff. And so I'm really interested to see what he's gonna look like in year 3.
Yeah, and he closed really strong. So I will give him that. I still like Riley because I thought when I say he was up and down, I thought that was more so towards the beginning of the year. But it did reach a point where he just was only ascending, so there's that of it. But then again, I feel like because Dylan missed my whole Riley spiel, and then I just prayed.
I heard it.
He's got the
technology exists, Darren. I don't know what y'all got in Texas.
Well, we have AirPods. We have snow. That's what we have in Texas right now. How about that?
All right, Dylan, you got to break the tie on this one again.
It is tough. This is another one that's tough for me. But I'm going to give it to Quincy Riley just because I think he had less down parts of the season.
It makes, like I said, I can't argue with that. I can't argue. I get that.
But I do think that it kind of went overlooked. I think we're also victim of it. Kool-Aid definitely stepped up in the second half of the season and is going into the offseason with a lot of momentum. So I'm going to stick with Riley. And now I'm going to make it a little bit hard. Quincy Riley or Kelvin Banks Jr.
Oh, I got to go Kelvin Banks Jr. That's an easy one for me. I got to go Kelvin Banks Jr. I just picked Kool-Aid because of what's asked from him as a CB1. All of the stuff that was asked of Kelvin Banks Jr. playing on an island as a rookie, starting at left tackle, his first game, playing all 17 games. I know he left the last one early, but playing all 17 games. Yeah, I'm going Kelvin Banks Jr. on that one. That's easy for me.
Finally, we in agreement. Yeah. Thanks. It's about time, Ross. I didn't know if we would ever agree.
There we go. Yeah.
My opinion doesn't matter.
Not anymore. You've been out.
Well, it was going to be Kelvin Banks for me anyway.
Yeah.
Kelvin Banks or Alante Taylor?
Kelvin Banks.
Yeah.
Now I'm Kelvin Banks or Brian Brissy?
Kelvin Banks.
This is gonna be a tough one to beat.
I like that challenge. Kelvin Banks or Jawan Johnson?
I don't like this comparison.
Oh, man. Jawan had such a good year.
I'm going to still go with Kelvin Banks, even though Jawan plays at a stat-heavy position, so it's kind of hard to go, argument versus argument because you have yards and touchdowns and things, and you have career years, right? Like it's hard.
It's very different.
What a career year is for an offensive tackle. Rookie year, but still in general, position versus position, it's hard to describe that. I'll go with this. I think Kelvin Banks was the more reliable player for longer. I think Jawan transformed into being more reliable, but there were moments when I felt like, maybe not so much. So I'm going to go with Kelvin Banks Jr. because of that.
That's really good logic. I'll roll with you on that. That's really good.
All right, last one, Kelvin
But
Banks.
Juwan gets his
Tyler
flowers.
Shuck.
But
Yes.
Juwan gets his flowers.
Juwan
Banks
who got shorted last time because he had to go against like Chase Young or something.
Right.
All right, here we go.
Juwan.
Juwan Johnson or Chris Rumpf. No. No.
I like Chris.
Me too, man.
No, me too. It's just sorry for the straight.
Juwan definitely had that. Yeah.
There you go, Juwan. You get a W.
Tyler Banks. Tyler. I said
Juwan.
Tyler Banks. Kelvin Banks or Tyler Shuck to close this out.
Tyler Shuck.
Tyler Shuck.
All right. Y'all are crazy. Y'all are crazy. No, actually, it is Tyler Shuck.
He was going
All right.
What you guys don't know is that we would have had a 2-hour show until we finally picked somebody over Kelvin Banks.
Yeah.
When he said challenge accepted, he was rolling.
Yeah, I really like Shuck and Olave were kind of the two that I could and Chase Young, where I could very comfortably be like, yes, they okay, I would take them in this situation. But look, anytime you have a quarterback that starts 9 games and is in franchise quarterback conversation and is up for offensive rookie of the year and all that, like that's the guy that had the better year in that case.
All right, and I'm gonna leave this one up for the comment section below.
Ooh,
this is the one for them, and I think it's actually a pretty easy one.
We'll do a poll too.
Saints Squad Show or any other podcast on planet Earth. Let us know what you say down below, and I know you're gonna pick Saints Squad Show.
And if you don't, you're blocked.
If you don't, you're never allowed back here again. Sorry, Amy Poehler. We are better. All right. Let's go.
I love it.
Right.
Conan O'Brien, get out of here.
Oh man.
Let's
go. Let's go. I'm seeing the squad shows pop off in the comments. I love to see it. And I know that everyone picking Saints Squad Show will be here with us on Monday as we come back to talk a little bit more Saints off season, what's going on in the NFL Pro Bowl week. We'll see how that goes. It's gonna be a lot of fun, I think. Saints Squad, everybody. And then just one more time, guys, that draft was awesome.
Yeah, for real.
Look at us. Look at us. All right, we'll see y'all on Monday.
Peace.